For more on the NBC News poll, I'm joined by national political correspondent Steve Kornacki to break down the numbers. A lot of headlines here, Steve.
Absolutely, Kristen. I think the biggest headline let's give you the bottom line. Donald Trump does lead Joe Biden 46 to 44% in our poll, but this is a tightening from our last poll. You could see 3 months ago, Donald Trump had a 5-point lead against the current president. That 5-point lead now down to 2 points. So there is progress here for Biden in the last 3 months.
Coming after the State of the Union, and he's had a campaign blitz.
Yeah, he's in the Democratic primaries, such as they were, coming to an end. Perhaps there's Democrats rallying around Biden, too. Also, I think not coincidentally, this slight improvement here for Biden tracks with a slight improvement in his job approval rating. It now sits at 42%. Again, go back to our last poll. Look at this. He was in all-time low for him territory last time around, now up back over 40%. This is the highest Biden's job approval has been in our poll since last spring. So again, these are encouraging signs for Joe Biden, although broader picture here, this 42% approval rating, history says, probably by itself not enough. He's probably going to need more, because put this in some context here. These are other recent presidents at this point in their reelection campaigns. Where were their approval ratings? Again, you see Biden's 42%. One thing that jumps out, they were all higher than Joe Biden. The other thing, the two presidents on this list who did not win reelection, of course, Donald Trump 4 years ago, he was at 46%. And back in 1992, George H.W. Bush, he was at 43%. Biden below both of those. The last time Biden's been at this level, 46%, you got to go back to the start of 2023. The last time he was higher than that, you got to go back to the summer of 2021, his first year as president. So Biden has some work to do on that front. And also, troubling for the Biden campaign, the erosion of public confidence on a number of critical fronts. We asked voters in this poll about a number of leadership characteristics here. Which candidate would be better? There are two, only two where Biden has the edge over Trump. Abortion. We've talked about this one, seen this for a long time here.
That's a big one.
It is, certainly is. That's the biggest Biden advantage in this poll. And then bringing the country together. Biden, you see, performing better than Trump. But I think the headline here is you add those two numbers together, you're not even close to 100. That means a lot of voters think neither candidate is better on that. And then on every other front here, we talk about the erosion for Biden, and now you start to see it. Look at these numbers. Trump advantages on all of these traits.
And I stop here because competent and effective, that was President Biden's, the crux of his campaign pitch back in 2020.
And we actually polled this question in 2020, and it was basically the exact opposite. It was Biden with about a 10-point advantage over Trump. And again, same with handling a crisis. Biden had the edge over Trump. And how about this? It's the former president, the current president. We don't really see matchups like this. Well, now we can measure it. Who has the strong record as president? And again, Trump outpacing Biden on that front. And again, you got to mention this one, too. Necessary mental and physical health. We asked this 4 years ago. It was a wash. It's now a clear liability for Joe Biden. So these are all troubling numbers for Biden. But it's not to say there aren't warning signs for Donald Trump in this poll either.
Well, Trump and his campaign are hoping a third-party candidate might give them a little bit of a boost. But our poll shows it's a little bit murkier than that. That's
the thing, because, again, we show a 46-44 race here for Donald Trump. Again, all those liabilities for Biden, Trump only ahead, too. What the Trump folks have been hoping is RFK, third-party candidates, they gobble up some votes, and Trump doesn't need to get to 50%. But look what happens when we add RFK's name to the mix. Suddenly, we have a new leader. Joe Biden, 39%. Donald Trump, 37%. There's Kennedy getting 13%. In other words, we're seeing by a better than 2-to-1 margin, it's Trump voters who are flipping over to Kennedy in this scenario, not Biden voters. You see it right here. 15% of Trump voters, when we add RFK's name to the mix, they go to RFK. Only 7% of Biden voters. So it's a big change right there.
Defies conventional wisdom. There's no doubt about that.
Absolutely. I think we haven't seen this in other polls. And one final note, Kristen, as well, is this. It's the question of enthusiasm. I thought this really jumped out here. The most engaged voters, those who voted in 2020, voted in the midterm elections, those folks are voting for Biden by 9 points. Where Trump's strength is, why he leads Biden, it's voters who don't typically turn out in many elections. Didn't vote in 20, didn't vote in 2022. They are with Trump by more than 20 points. And the warning sign for Trump in relying on this kind of voter is this. We are seeing the lowest level of interest since we started asking this question back in 2008. Are you very interested in the election? 64%. That's lower than any other time at this point where we have polled this before. So again, lower interest. Maybe those voters who are in the polls are saying they're for Trump. Are we sure they're going to actually vote in November? The Trump campaign better hope so.
We'll have to see if that ticks up as we get closer to Election Day. Steve Kornacki, thank you so much.
Thanks for watching. Stay updated about breaking news and top stories on the NBC News app or follow us on social media.